Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on 20 Sides to Every Story. We are playing this morning some old school essentials. This is technically episode one of our Dolmenwood campaign. We did do, I guess, what the couple of people on YouTube were calling a session point five. Not really session zero, maybe. We had characters created and such, but we did dig into a little bit of gameplay. So if you want to check that out, check out the session zero that we have either located there on YouTube. And I did edit down. There's like a podcast version of it that you can check out on. I don't know. It's like kind of like on all sorts of different platforms, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you could probably find that. Um, so yeah, so this is officially session one. I'm joined here today by Winston, Isaac, Ryan, and Chris. Moreen is unable to join us here today, but we will still incorporate her character, Lillibeth, as we go forward here a bit. The character is very integral to what we are doing this morning because the characters are um, trying to deal with a conflict that happened right at the end of our session zero, where their money was stolen by this cat-like creature, um, and they have a lot of need for money as they're in unfamiliar territory. We'll give a little summation of all of that in just a moment here. So our heroes here have come to the Dolmenwood. They are all former prisoners, but they have been granted maybe a chance at amnesty if they would uh, head out into the Dolmenwood to track down a fugitive prismist, someone that the Empire of Lumora has deemed a criminal, named Marjoram Gryver. And so that is what they're doing. That is what has taken them up into this region. They are now find themselves at the edge of the forest, having made camp. They've been traveling by way of the River Hameth, and had they've got three canoes amongst them, and had pulled off to the side to make camp for the night before heading into the Dolmenwood the next day. It was over the course of the campfire, the rest that night, that this creature, a Grimalkin creature named Jaspy Poppletail, created a little bit of a distraction to the group. And when that creature got kind of skittish and ran off, when some of the other party members had been alerted, um, and when in the chaos and confusion, it would seem that the coin that Sir Silas, your I guess the knight that has sort of sponsored you a bit to come on this adventure and gain the same offer of amnesty that the Empire is offering to him, extended that to you. He was holding onto the coin and noticed that it was gone. And so, in that time, you had identified that you believe that the creature had skirted off to the north into the woods there. And so that is essentially where we left off. And you made camp. It was very late. You had already a tiring day of rowing oars and such up the river. And so our session here is going to pick up with you all waking up and getting ready to set out into the woods. But before maybe we do that, we will get some character intros from everybody. So we'll just go around the table here and tell us a little bit about your character, anything you think that the audience needs to know to help them understand our story here this morning. So we'll start right away here with Winston.
Yeah, so I am playing Weymund
Thanks for the
Green.
gems, man!
He is a human illusionist. And I guess the main thing, is my background, I was an unlicensed mage. I was researching magic outside the church. I'm not a big fan of authority, not a big fan of kind of like the superstitions that attach to the church. No offense, good friar. But my main motivation is I've been trying to perfect this spell called Chromatic Orb, and it requires a lot of research and development, and I'm trying to like master it, but I'm not using any of the official channels, so I'm kind of like going my own way. And so part of why I agreed to do this is get out of jail. but also gives me a chance to just get out in the wild and like test out my spells and find more gems. And the very fact that we're hunting a prismist is extremely interesting to Weymund because, I got a spell book and so does she. And a lot of it's the same.
Yeah, I think around um I think at some point it had been revealed that maybe hinted at that what her crime is she stole some kind of a crystal um that maybe linked to some kind of arcane secret that the Empire doesn't want her to have. Um so lots there for Waymond. Let's go next to Isaac.
Hi, hello. I'm Isaac, and today I'm playing a human friar named Friar Stephen Fitzpatrick. Friar Fitzpatrick was kind of put in jail because he had decided to take all the offerings from the congregation at his church, and instead of paying a bit of taxes that is required by law, he decided to kind of forgo those taxes and send them straight out to the people that needed them. And so eventually he was caught, a bit upset. He was a bit of a rebel as far as when it came to the structure and establishment of the church itself. So he found himself in prison. Uh, and yeah, he also while actually maybe not so much in prison, he really didn't realize uh, he was there. But as soon as they were released, he came into contact with his brother, that uh, he had seen the ways. He actually came from nobility, and he saw the ways of this structure as well. He saw that the noble house really was in it for itself, not for the people. So he decided to to step down from that foolishness and go more in the way of a path that he felt would do more for those around him.
Yeah, it's so interesting bit of happenstance that we have here. We have two characters that are related, so Friar Fitzpatrick and Sir Geoffrey. As fate would have it, both took very different paths from their family, and both still ended up in the same system. And fate has brought you back together again here, so that's a good segue maybe to go over to Ryan.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Garthok, and I'm playing Sir Geoffrey Fitzpatrick, the youngest brother, the second in line to take over the family name. However, when his older brother, our good Friar Fitzpatrick, left the family, kind of abandoned his nobility and left, I was kind of forced into leading our noble house, and I take those. I took those that role very seriously up until I was, framed. Uh, uh, I was sort of uh, immobilized by trying to follow the rules of chivalry a little bit too close, and found myself in a precarious situation. And as Alex was explaining, ended up right in the same place as my older brother. Uh, and having met Sir Silas, I think we kind of bonded. Our stories are a bit similar. We're sort of. I think we both know who's slighted us, and because of different reasons, we're sort of keeping our mouths shut. Uh, and so here I am in the Dolmenwood, reunited with my brother and with this strange group of people, trying to find my freedom.
Awesome, thank you for that. Um, let's go next over to Chris.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Chris. I'm playing a human minstrel. He had landed himself with these with his current companions by being released from prison with Sir Silas. He was accused rightfully of uh, gathering some and being in possession of some forbidden knowledge, according to the church, which landed him in prison along with these guys. Um, his name is Thomas Arnhold Penrose Mournspire the Seventh, actually, but he just goes by Tom. So, but he's rather tall. I mean, about 6'2", 160 pounds, kind of barrel chested, somewhat, I guess, loud. Uh, he currently, one thing that I guess hadn't been brought up last week, he has a cloak that has a couple of patches on it. It looks kind of like a work in progress. Some multicolored patches um, on his cloak. He, when out traveling, does have chain armor on, and although he will complain about the chafing and such, it's not the most comfortable thing. So, but his kind of one of his main goals and what he would like to do once he's out here is write the story of what it is that we are doing, and also map the Dolmenwood, and specifically any of the dolmen stones that are in this area that just so happen to be what is the forbidden knowledge that he had received was information on those. So, although he doesn't have it anymore because they took it from him, he has that knowledge in his head. So he's looking forward to getting that on the map. So
Yeah, and it is certainly true. You do not have a map. And given everything that Sir Silas did in preparation for this trip, had he been able to procure something like that, you certainly would have brought it along. Um, Seems like he does seem like when he talks, he has a general knowledge of where you're going. Like he's been able to find notes about locations and things like that, but not a physical representation of where you're going. Just the knowledge of follow this river and find this town and then this town and that kind of a thing. So, he had told you as you set out that as you were following the River Hameth, um, that the first location that he had expected you to stop off at was a village by the name of Dreg. Um, and it seemed like he had a feeling that you were probably about a day's journey by boat away from it. And so, but he also knew that there would be some financial things that you would have to take care of along the way. He was anticipating having to pay a toll at some point along the river, and so that is sort of why getting that money back is so important, because you have those incidentals like tolls and lodging and being able to buy food and all those types of pieces that you'll be in dire straits without. And so as we're picking up here on this next day, it is the 24th day of Igwild. So sort of springtime, late spring weather. The sun is out. It is a warm day. Maybe temperatures of 75, 80 or so. Um, and it almost maybe fills you with a little bit of you're looking at the kind of the gloom or the shade of the forest, and you're gonna have to like withdraw from kind of this bright fair weather out here and and turn to the Dolmenwood. And so you're packing up your things. You're you know, I don't know, I think nobody had a bedroll, so there's nothing like that to pack up, but you're gathering your things, cleaning up maybe a little bit from your meal that you had the previous night. And it sounds like this is probably where we'll go, is that you took your canoes up and out of the water, and you're kind of portaging them over to the woods to kind of maybe camouflage with some foliage or something like that, and trying to make sure that they aren't easy targets for maybe some bandits or whatever to run off with. So, um, yeah, kind of open it up to you for any like kind of conversation you want to have as the day sets out. Um, Maybe Winston, could I appoint you to be somebody to have maybe the hunter page up? I don't have Moreen's character sheet, but
Yes.
I might need to have somebody with some eyes on the hunter's abilities to reference it at a few points here.
Yep, I'll get that up. And a question too: have we seen so who all actually saw the Grimmelkin? I'm trying to remember, like if I'm going off of faith or if we all saw it at some point. I don't remember.
Sir Geoffrey and Friar Fitzpatrick are the two that I think clearly saw it. Sir Silas groggily probably saw it as he was waking up and grabbing at his sword.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just open say, just kind of grumbling about. Well, I mean, when we find this bandit was clearly just wearing some sort of a costume, then we'll get our money back. We can get back on the road and get to the city. So I think we should chop chop and get to it.
Sir Silas, what is the plan? I mean, are we going to try and treat or communicate with these creatures, or is it slay them on sight?
Well, it sounds like this thing had a bit of a conversation with you, Friar. What is your assessment of the thing? Do you think it can be treated with? My apprehension about this thing is there are a lot of stories about these woods, and things aren't always as they seem. And I would be fearful that we are making an enemy that we can't deal with, but I don't know that for certain.
Friar would kind of be stretching, in the morning, trying to shake off kind of the stiffness in his back as he's kind of answering these questions. He's kind of staring off, looking off into the river going by, and he's like, "Well, I felt that. I mean, it talked to me. Surprisingly, I almost expected waking up in the morning and not being here with all of you. It was quite interesting last night. After sleeping on it, yes, it actually did. Well, it talked to me. It said that my food tasted good. So I guess that will maybe give you a piece of its temperament. I'm sure we might be able to talk to it. Not harm the little pussycat, but either way, um, if it had a friend, who knows how many more friends they have out there.
Well, certainly, even though they've done us wrong, their approach to robbing us wasn't to slit our throats in the middle of the night, so that's something.
They clearly have no honor, but I think Sir Silas has a good point. If we are unfamiliar with the wood, making enemies of possibly an entire race of creatures could be maybe a bad news. But I do think we should pursue, as we will need this money for the tolls and possibly for some bedrolls, as my back is in bad shape this morning.
Alex, what's the rules for preparing spells? I do that in the morning or the night before.
Yeah, you prepare them basically, yeah, the night before, I believe.
Night before. Okay.
So is there any change out that you wanted to do?
If it would have been the night before, I would have had collar spray prepared.
Okay, well,
I was thinking detect illusion, but can't change. That's the way it goes. You got what you prepped.
so the way this works then, sounds like you're heading into the forest. So basically, you on foot, you get 18 miles of travel. These hexes are 6 miles. And again, the hex is just really a abstraction. So like it's just a way for us to kind of measure all these kinds of things. And so there are going to be times where some of that is altered a bit. Like if you're traveling in a heavily wooded hex, which is often the case, is a little bit more takes a little bit more off of that 18-mile number. Um, and so basically that's going to be the case here. Probably traveling through these wooded hexes, not on a road. You're going to be able to get 2 hexes of travel. Plus, you're also tracking. Is I think the idea here. You have Lillibeth does have sort of a lead on where she thinks they entered from, and so the first role we need to do as we head out is decide the course of travel, and I think that's being dictated here by that tracking. So you're trying to go north. And I would
Yeah.
say where she picks up on the trail, it really kind of seems that it's closer to the river where they entered into the forest.
Okay.
And so there could be a role for losing direction, but I'm just going to use discretion here and say because of the fact that the river is there, that there's no chance of truly getting lost because you're following this river, and that's what her tracking. These creatures. It's she's kind of tracking for scents and kind of prints. There maybe in the softer earth near the riverbank, and so um, you're going to be staying within eyeshot of that river. So we're not going to do that roll exactly, but you have to do a check to see if there are any wandering counters that might happen. So I will do that now. Right. I start rolling other dice. That's how you know something is happening in the background. So I'll take care of that real quick.
Good things, of course, right?
Good things, only good
You
things.
find 300
Yes.
gold pieces.
Yes, it's not if we trip over a chest; it's how much gold is in the chest. Is what
That's
he's rolling.
right. Yeah.
And part of this is I sort of set or decide like when something may happen. So it might not necessarily be during the course of the day. Oh. That'd be too. Okay.
Alex,
God.
if we
Nothing is terrible, Alex.
That's always great to hear out of the DM's mouth.
Uh-huh.
Should I do that? That
okay,
Oh.
Alex,
Yeah.
No, I
if
want to
we
roll
die,
on the
can we
table.
come back as the Grimmelkin family that robbed us?
Yeah, of course. Okay. I will roll. Okay. So, you are traveling now, formerly in the wood, and there's I would say, a great deal of diversity in the plant life that you're coming across as you enter into the wood. You've got pines, you've got broad-leafed trees, you've got flowering bushes and plants, all sorts of things. I think the Friar, you are doing
Mhm.
some foraging along the way. We'll wait to do the
Definitely.
roll for that until like closer to the end of the day. But
Okay.
one thing you'll notice as you start to come into the wood, is there seems to be like a lot of fungal growth about, and that has a wide range of diversity as well. There's kind of shelf fungi that you see growing on the barks of many of the trees, large, maybe larger than you've seen in other places in the world where you've been. Kind of big puffball kinds of mushrooms growing in patches along the way that you maybe try to avoid or whatnot. Just like all sorts of different in many of them very colorful. You see some mushrooms that are kind of almost like a purplish color that give off maybe a bit of a luminescence. Um, yeah, so that is one thing you notice as you were coming through the forest here. Um,
Nothing ominous or about those fungus. Just we notice that it's stuff that we kind of haven't seen before. Is it like like if I poke it or anything, it's just normal fungus?
um, yeah. Do you want to try to like interact with something here?
I mean, I would think probably one of the maybe stranger looking fungus. The Joffrey probably feel a little put off by it and maybe would grab a long stick or poke it with his sword just to be like, I've heard a lot of things about the Dolmenwood. These aren't alive, are they?
Why don't you roll me a d20?
All right, an 8.
Okay.
Why did you
Yeah,
give it a
so
taste, Geoffrey?
you see that there is a sort of like a puffball type. It's a kind of a white looking mushroom. You poke it with a stick, and it looks like it kind of like shrivels up, but as it does so, it kind of gives a burst, a little bit of like a white powder that bursts out. You're I think arm's length, right? Like doesn't like hit you in the face or anything, but you see like little particles just kind of settle on the foliage nearby and kind of rests on some of the green leaves and the grass nearby.
Typical fungus behavior, perhaps, but maybe these spores are not something we want to be breathing in.
Mm, maybe. Or do. Don't don't it's fine. It's
Back
nature
to
gives us
old ways.
gifts now and then. It's not the old ways, Geoffrey. You understand that it's all very natural. And like I said, I promise not to add some of these special ingredients to our dinner. I'm just putting that out there now. But understand that there are truly magnificent things in nature that will alter the way you perceive things. It's beautiful and wonderful.
And as you were saying that, a few minutes pass. You notice that the powder that has rested on there's like a plant with almost like greenish golden like leaves, just a very small plant, maybe a foot tall, springing up out of the ground. Some of the dust and powder has settled on that. You can see like the plant is starting to kind of um it's like the oils of the plant are interacting with that powder. It's starting to turn from white to purple. There's sort of just kind of like a chemical reaction that is happening a bit. It's not like that on all the plants, but on that particular plant it is.
Now imagine that in your belly, Geoffrey.
Mm.
Well, I'm not in a rush to eat any of these mushrooms, though my brother may take you up on that offer. But this is interesting here. Perhaps these plants are having some sort of reaction together. I wonder if it's something we may be able to use to our advantage, or not, or just stay the hell away from it, as it may be dangerous. But the other plants don't seem to be reacting to it. Brother, you know about all these strange plants. Maybe you would know.
To be fair, normally I've never seen anything quite like this. I think maybe a small sample might. Maybe when we get into town and whatnot, we might be able to ask around. He's gonna, if possible. I know you said that we're not forging and whatnot yet, but if anything,
You
he'd bring
are,
out a
but I
small.
just don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the role for what the outcome is. Happens a
Okay.
little bit later, but
All
yeah,
right.
this is an
So if
individual
anything,
case. So
yeah, he'll bring out a small sack out of his pouch and kind of just bring a small little tiny like pocket knife and just
you're
cut
cut.
off one of the mushrooms.
Oh, okay. One of the puffball kind of mushrooms there.
No, he's gonna take the one that had reacted to the whatever that powder was.
Okay,
The plant that the puffball spores landed on.
so
or
you're
whatever.
cutting like that plant, like at
Uh-huh.
the stem. Okay. So you do that and deposit it into your bag. As you continue on, maybe it's probably only like 15 minutes later, you'll notice that you kind of have a little bit of a rash.
Oh.
Like wherever you, I don't know,
Yeah.
like
just-
you probably had touched that plant.
Uh-huh.
I think you were taking care not to touch the powder, but this plant seems like has some kind of the oil or whatever had got on your hand, and now you have
Mhm.
just it's this pain like a little bit like
Yeah.
touching like
Yeah.
poison ivy, basically.
Mhm.
That rash just kind of breaks out on your.
He will take note. Oh, interesting. And he will just say, "I've seemed to be developing a rash. Oh, I was hoping that would happen."
One of nature's gifts.
Yes, nature's gifts. And he's the good, the true God. He provides us with so many pleasantries and sensations and what. Just another one of those things. He's gonna go ahead and take note about all this that's happening to him.
Okay. So you continue on traveling along the River Hameth, and probably about maybe we'll say it's been like about 3.5 hours since you've been trudging along here, just following the tree line here, and up ahead you start to hear what sounds like kind of the cascading of a tremendous amount of water. And as you kind of peek out to kind of observe up along the river here, you'll notice that two things. There's a man-made structure that almost looks um sort of like, I guess, like a wall that has been constructed across the river. Now, the river is like a mile wide, so it's a massive structure. Um, it, it looks like a wall, but water passes underneath it, and there's a gatehouse that is situated like in the middle of this structure. So it looks like it is basically some kind of a gate for controlling the flow of boats up and down the river. But the way it is built is there's enough clearance underneath the wall that the logs and such can come back and or pass under it without too much hindrance. So, like in your canoes, like could you pass underneath this thing? Probably. It's maybe more for like larger vessels, but um, it looks like this is probably one of the full uh, spots that um, Sir Silas was concerned about. Now, strangely enough, though, behind it is a waterfall. And this is the river that you were heading up. So there's this like huge. I don't know. We'll say maybe I don't know what's realistic. 100 feet, 100 feet for a waterfall. I don't know.
And there's like logs coming down it and going like under the wall, I
Yeah.
guess.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what you see off to your right. The other thing that you notice is there looks like in the path ahead of you, there's like wagon wheel tracks that seem to lead to that wall. Like there's a, it looks like it maybe has like a little point of entry on the side of the river, like a little gatehouse where you could get up onto the wall by entering into it, and it looks like there's like a wagon, there's a track there that wagons may be coming back and forth through here fairly regularly. You could probably see that there are some sentries on the wall, just doing kind of like a walk back and forth, patrolling and just surveying the forest.
Do we see the area where they may be potentially collecting a toll?
There's like a gatehouse that's like in the middle of this wall where there's like two portcullises that are on either side, and it looks like maybe they will direct boats. There's nobody that they're dealing with right now, but your best guess is that they direct boats to go to that gatehouse and open it up, collect the toll, and then open up the other side so that they can pass through, and that's sort of the choke point.
The wagon
Does-
tracks on this side. There is there a path or whatever that leads, say, off further west or anything like that?
Yeah, it looks like it kind of crosses, so you're heading north. So it looks like it heads more or less to the west. It runs
Okay.
west to east. So Sir Silas will point out that he'll kind of look confused, I think, a little bit, and he'll say, well, maybe this wasn't a way to drag after all. That I don't see how continue up the river by canoe with that waterfall. Maybe we would have had to have gone by foot here anyway.
How far off is that? Is that toll and whatnot? Is it?
The gatehouse, so if the it's like a half mile like in the middle. So like this wall is quite long, right? But it looks like maybe they would direct you, like if you were trying to follow just like the edge of the river, they'd probably direct you like to maneuver your vessel over to the gatehouse.
You said it's about half a mile from us at this point. Or are we a bit closer?
Maybe I should. Do you mean like the entryway onto the wall, or like the thing that would ferry the boats?
Pretty much. I'm just wondering how. I'm looking. He would suggest if it's close enough to where we are at this moment, maybe to talk to one of the guards or one of the tollmen just to
Oh
see.
yeah,
get some
so
type of
yeah,
bearing.
there's like a there's a gatehouse that's like on the the lip of the the river bank that
Okay.
you could just walk up to. Yeah, there's a door. Um, this isn't like the thing that probably the structure was like. You don't see like there's not like a person like sitting there waiting for you, but you know presumably you could go and like maybe knock on the door and like maybe answer you.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Should we maybe?
Where do the tracks of the Grimalkin lead, as opposed to everything we're seeing?
Yeah.
Because that's how we ended up here, right? We were following these tracks.
Yeah, at this point, I'm gonna say that what Lillibeth is following more or less is less tracks and more like I don't know, kind of gross, I guess, but like maybe like picking up on like where did they urinate and like some recent evidence of that kind of thing, because like they're pretty small creatures. They're not leaving like real stomping. There's not like footprints like that, but she's picking up on evidence that they were here in the past 12 hours or so. So that is leading her more north.
And that's the direction of the wagon wheels. So we see.
You'd be crossing over it. It's like wagon tracks this way, your direction of following the Grimalkin is just continuing north.
I think it might be a good idea to speak with any of the guards here or whatever to see if they saw these little cat creatures pass by.
Or perhaps we can get them to take pity on us for having our toll money stolen, and just give us passage, maybe. Maybe a good song could convince him.
Could try.
So you wish to approach the tower there, the small tower there that acts as like kind of the one end of that wall over the river. So you go up there together and knock on the door, and this is probably like maybe like a 2-story structure made of. This is made of stone. The wall itself is more or less made of kind of wood and timber. Um, but this structure, after you knock on the door, after about maybe a minute or so, you notice that somebody shows up at the top, looking down at you. It says, "Hail, travelers!
Greeting.
How can I help you?"
Hello.
On behalf of the Duke of Brackenwold, you are now entered into the Duchy of Brackenwold, and I am at your service.
We seek some information. We had camped south of the tree line last night, and some strange cat creatures beset our camp and stole our coin. We were curious if you had seen any such creature or know of any such creature that may have passed by this way within the last half a day.
The gentleman that you are talking with, um, he is probably relatively young looking to you, kind of a baby faced sentry. He's wearing leather, kind of like padded leather armor. He's got a tabard on, um, that has a sigil. Looks like maybe like a house sigil. And he kind of chuckles as you say that, and he says, it seems that you have run across a Grimalkin. They are very capricious type creatures. Hard to know whether they needed the coin or if maybe they were stealing from you just for the sport of it. No, I have not seen any such creature recently. Um, I'm afraid I can be of no help there.
Well, we curious if we can seek passage. We are heading to the town of Dreg and seem to have gotten faulty information on exactly how to arrive there. Would we
Well,
need to pass over your bridge, or is there some other path that we can take?
seem to be without a boat.
Currently,
And that's probably where Sir Silas is maybe going to step in and just ask, well, I don't understand how a boat. I was led to understand that Greg was due north. And the sentry just kind of rolls his eyes a little bit and says, "True, but the Falls of Nif are enchanted, and this is a conveyor of vessels. There's a magical property here that will just lift boats seeking passage and lift them up to continue on along the River Hameth." Sort of nods, like, "Oh, okay, I hadn't heard that." But the man says, "If you're willing to, it is 8 silver pieces to pass by boat, but if you're going by foot, have at it." And he kind of gestures towards the wilderness. Says you could certainly walk along the River Hameth, and you'll eventually make your way to Dreg. you were to survive.
That
Survive.
last piece of the sentence doesn't sound too. Is there a lot of danger?
Well, the woods are wild. There are all sorts of dangers in the wood.
Um, uh, so was say we go. We currently, I mean, just our friend here. She would point out to Lillibeth. Has so far at least found some sort of trail to those creatures. Anyone looking to seek them out and get their coin back, what would you say to them? Have you come in close contact with them?
Hmm. Once in a while, maybe when I'm up in Dreg myself, taking a holiday. I've been at a card game or two with a Grimalkin.
So these are real creatures then.
Oh, well, based on what you're telling me, is that's what it sounds like to me. And yes, haven't had a wealth of experience with them, but yes, once in a while, you might see one within the villages, within the towns of Brackenwold.
Well, I guess some fairy tales are true.
Yes, I suppose so.
So are these Grimalkin violent creatures? If we show up in force, say, hey, please give us our money back, will they attack? Will we have a fight on our hands, or is it more that they're just mischievous little gremlins?
Well, certainly never heard a story start with I was in a brawl or a fight with a Grimalkin, but I'm sure that it could happen.
We should make that story true so we can at the tavern at Drag. So we were in a brawl with 5 Grimalkin.
Are they prone to banditry?
That is a story that you may hear once in a while. Claims of um, Grimalkin using their glamours and their uh, fey magic to bewitch or charm someone into just handing over their wealth. You got to keep an eye on them. The couple that I know, gamblers and such, you got to keep a close eye, make sure there's no funny business gaming with them.
Well, this one went by the name of, and Chris is drawing a blank, something
Poppletail.
Poppletail or something. Have you heard of this one?
No, I can't say that I have. How much money did you lose?
All of our money. We had planned to travel through this passage and pay the toll to your Lord Brackenwald, but now we are in a impasse. Either we have to travel the very dangerous woods. That seems to be our only option, as we have been robbed and we have nothing. Is there any way you could take pity on us if we arrive in Dreg and promise to, earn the money and pay it back double? We are men of honor, Sir Silas and I, and we would never go back on our word.
You could see there's maybe a little bit of kind of a look in the face of this man, like, oh, this is awkward. He's just like, well, no, it isn't my call to make. I have my superiors to report to, and there are many of us here. I am afraid I can't make an exception. I don't know you. You seem like fine folk, and um, this is regrettable that this is your welcome to our lands. But um, I wish you luck in finding your coin, and I hope today yields better fortune for
Perhaps your superior, maybe he has something he may need done, that we could earn our way across. Is it possible? I do not want to jump the chain of command, but if there are any official um, ways that we could petition him, we would greatly appreciate it.
Well, I'm not sure I could take this matter to him. I don't know how long you would like to wait around to receive a response from him, but I can put in a word with him.
We would appreciate that. We will. I will talk. We'll talk amongst ourselves, and we'll see how long we can wait around. But we certainly do appreciate you being a man of honor and doing this justice for us.
So then he gives you kind of a bow, and he withdraws from the tower, and presumably is somewhere along the wall talking to whoever his superior is. So you're by yourselves again, and
Well, that went unfortunately. So.
You are a man of the word, Minstrel.
Well, in all my years in the nobility, I've not known any men of my stature or others to let anybody go by without paying their tax. I feel as though this may be a useless gesture.
Well, I was pretty quick thinking to see maybe if we could do something, perhaps to help them out. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that whatever it is, will send us into the wood either way. Unless they want some, interesting herbs and whatnot. Maybe I can perform a service of some kind. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
You are a fantastic cook, brother. Perhaps a meal and a song, a party. We could throw them a party.
Slip some of those
Throw
mushrooms
them
in.
a party. Well, that's a different kind of party.
Well,
We don't want it to end up like our sister's wedding now.
Oh no! Listen, I would say let's not. I don't want to remember that night, but I do not remember it much anyway. So.
It is a good thing our parents do not remember much of it either.
Yes.
so, friends, I hate to be the one to bring this up, but the trail on the Grimmelston grows cold. We can wait, but if we miss our chance, I think that we'll be hiking it the rest of the way.
Ow.
The question is, if we're going to follow the Grimalkin into the wood anyway, do we just continue through the wood to Dreg? If we're going to head in anyway, if, seems like we're on the way. Or is it on the way? Is the trail towards where we're heading or no?
the trail would presumably lead you away from where you're headed.
Okay.
Not too sure where that leads. Presumably to some other settlement or something that maybe makes deliveries here to the wall or to the dam or whatever you want to call it. I'll say so you're conversing for a bit. We'll say maybe, I don't know, how long are you willing to wait?
I would say reasonably, maybe half an hour probably.
Okay.
I mean, after half an hour, I would start
So
being a little
about
nervous,
20
right?
minutes or so, that same gentleman comes back, the guard, and he says that Warden Farmer would be willing to meet with you this evening after his duties are complete.
Evening. Any word if he was willing, did he not really?
He seemed bemused when I told you about your story of the Grimalkin, but he said he would be interested in talking with you if you have the time.
I mean, if we stay, we'll definitely lose the trail of the Grimalkin, but we may gain passage to Dreg. So I don't know. It's up to. I think that because he spoke with the guy and the man seems to be a man of honor, that Sir Geoffrey would be inclined to stay and try to speak with the man.
Right, and I hate to make enemies with an authority. So if we leave now, I think we might offend.
I would say the guard is like coming back to confirm the appointment. So like he's not saying like you have to meet with him, but he'd be willing to meet with you.
I would still interpret it as offense if we then say
Okay.
no. You may not as the DM,
Right.
but
I just want to make sure I'm conveying like the feeling. Like I would
Yeah.
say that is not probably the feeling that your character would. I'm not putting that feeling out.
Oh, well, it's very. Thank you for speaking with them. We will. What do you say? I'll say maybe at least see if that trail is close enough, and if it gets a certain time of day, we come back. If we have no luck here.
Yes, I would say that the happenstance that those creatures came upon us, them being far away from where they stay, is probably unlikely. I think if we spend a little bit of time, we might, looking around this area and continue trying to find the trail. I think we might be able to find them, especially because I'm assuming, Alex, that it is still kind of early-ish morning, mid-morning or whatever.
It's probably like early afternoon right here.
Oh, okay.
And it would
probably
be
right about noon.
Yeah. And the meeting was going to be set up for this evening.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not gonna deter from his routine and all of his duties on the wall to stop and talk with some random travelers, but he's willing if you're lingering around, you're hanging out, he'll meet with you.
Either
So what do
either
you guys
way,
think?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, what do you guys think if that's the case? We'll do like 3 hours or 4 hours of searching around this trail in the general vicinity of this population that these Grimalkins may be preying upon. And if we're running low on time and we need time to get back to meet with this guy, we'll just head back.
That sounds good. Either way, I mean, it seems a lot safer to make camp around this here wall and tower rather than out there.
I agree. How about you, Lillibeth? I agree too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the feel or the hope is to continue on here for the evening, or
Yeah.
for the rest of the day travel.
Yeah.
Keep following the Grimalkin.
I think to follow the Grimalkin for like if we have like 6 hours, right? We would follow the Grimalkin for 3. If we found nothing, head back for the other 3 to meet with this guy. Type
Okay.
of situation. So if we do run across the Grimalkins, we may not meet with this man. We may get distracted, but if we don't, we'll probably head back and try to parlay with this gentleman.
Okay. I'm just trying to think in terms
We're
of
breaking the DM's mechanics.
you went through one hex just because you'd be traveling a bit and then doubling back, so you probably wouldn't make like substantially more progress. But that is what you want to do. So you're going to continue to follow the river, correct?
Or
So-
follow the tracks.
The tracks are going along the river here.
Okay.
So you probably would guess you could travel another maybe 2 or 3 hours before you'd have to double back to make sure that you're back timely fashion. That's probably about when you'd be exhausted. So you do that. So you cross over. You pass over the tracks of the wagon wheels that lead out west, and you continue up the river a bit. As you do that, you're still following along the river, but you see up ahead. Oh, let's see. You travel for about 2 hours, we'll say. It's just about the point when you're thinking about turning back. When up ahead you see, um, bent down, kneeling down, kind of staring down into the river. So you would have passed like kind of more up an incline, so that you were, at some point at the apex of where the waterfall is, and then kind of mellows out or flattens out there. So you've traveled past that. You're at a higher elevation than you were before, some 2 hours away. But the river, kind of normalizes there, and you can see that there's a large green-skinned creature, um, a troll with big long fangs, is kind of looking down into the river, and looks like it's kind of grabbing at fish and such that it is dragging up and consuming. Um, so we got an encounter here as you are traversing. I have to make a few rolls here.
Roll for disposition. Come on.
Yep.
No,
He's your friend.
He's a happy troll.
super cherry.
He's a smile troll.
He notices you. He hears you coming, it would seem.
Oh,
And he is looking at you. And he says, he kind of holds out his hand and he says, pay my toll.
Goddamn troll toll.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, we're actually on another toll errand already. We're a little short on funds, troll.
Then I'll eat you. I'll take it from your flesh.
Hold on. We're not passing the precipice of your boundary, of your area. We're over here, you're over there. We have not yet crossed that, and we do not wish to cross it, correct? You're a man
Correct.
of business, right? There, troll.
Business.
Yes, business. Looking to make more gold?
Gold. Collect. I will collect your skulls.
No.
Oh, no,
Those are
the-
worthless.
Oh. It's like you
Decorate
can
my
feel
cave.
whoever's standing behind him already feels the friar slowly kind of backing up and bumping into
I
you.
thought
Like,
you were going to say something else, Friar. Well, no. The Friar, the business opportunity. We are actually on the trail of some Grimalkin that have stolen hundreds of gold pieces. And so maybe we can make an arrangement. If you can point us in the direction of the Grimalkin, we might be able to cut you in on the deal.
Information. Expensive.
How about one skull?
I totally told you he
Skull?
was.
Ah. And he points at the dark ore steel sword that Sir Geoffrey has.
Oh,
Sword? Don't have one like that.
There's no way either one of us is giving up our sword. That's not going to happen.
I'll pull out my silver dagger and say, I have something even better.
wow.
This dagger is made of pure silver.
Silver, you say? Wow.
He starts
It's
to
in-
kind of lumber over to you. And he's towering. He's like 10
My other
feet
hand
tall.
is like twitching. So,
Silver.
yes, this is a quality item. It's actually a family heirloom of mine. I'm willing to hand this over to you, and you give us some information with these Grimalkin and let us pass your toll I promise you, this is worth way more than anything you'd get out of us on gold.
Okay. He reaches out to take it.
I gave it to him.
I just hate that when you're reaching out, like you're just like pinching it with with your fingers. So bad.
Then he looks at you and he says, "Okay, I know Grimmel. Sculpt, know where they are. They don't rob from Sculpt. They know better. But they like to rob from people like you. They go to Wizard Tower. Up that way." He's just pointing up the river.
How far to the Wizard Tower?
Maybe half day journey. Can still make it.
Do they reside there?
Do I go? No.
No. They're the Grimalkin. Do they live there? Is that their base of operation? Could we come back tomorrow, 2 days? Do you think they'd still be there?
They go there often. Sculpt see them go there. In and out. All day long.
So they work for this wizard?
Oh,
Or
don't
is
know.
Is there a wizard there, or is it just a tower that once held a wizard?
I think wizard hasn't been seen in. Sculpt never see wizard. Sculpt assume magic.
The Grimalkin ate him.
What can eat wizard? No. Sculpt eat wizard. Someday.
Go. Oh,
I take
Good to
a step
have-
back.
good to have golds, I guess. That
Sculpt
fish,
is a wise man.
the fish there. Have you ever had it seared and sautéed?
Sauteed.
Yes.
Oh.
It's wonderful. It will melt in your mouth. I can do this for you. See,
Sculpt likes to eat moss. You have moss?
if I come across it, we are traveling out. What does this moss look like? There, Sculpt.
Oh, Sculpt not picky. Stone moss? Tree bark moss? Sometimes I like the dwarves have good moss.
Well, if we come across any moss and whatnot, and we see you again,
I'll pay you in
And-
skull. I can give you
Oh.
lots of skulls.
how about we are allowed to keep our skull there, Sculpt?
Oh, okay.
Right. For it's acquaintances now, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know where to. You can find my home is at the base of the waterfall.
Oh,
Down that way. He points south.
well, we might come back to visit you. Remember us? Well, we're not the shiny. You got some. Yes. Go ahead. I guess.
I remember smell.
Okay.
Brother, do you think the plant matter that you gathered could possibly be this moss that he speaks of?
I'm not sure that what he's gonna kind of fish along. Scope, I'm see you know much about plants in the area and whatnot. What do you think of this? And he's gonna just open it without touching it.
Oh. That is poisonous.
Ow! Yes. Yes, I bet. Not good for tea then.
Oh, but that's why you take that powder. You used it. It tells you something's poisonous.
Oh.
Ow!
Look at that.
Jeez.
Oh, you touched it. Why? You used the powder.
I did. Yes, we are new around here. You see, Sculp. We're learning. You
Oh,
are a great ambassador
oh.
to
Hmm.
these
That was
lands.
free. Hey, you should pay me. I just taught you about
Oh,
plant.
hold on. I told you a few things too
Oh,
about
okay.
sauteing.
That's true. You owe me some moss.
Yes, sure, moss. We will. We will get you some moss if we see you again.
Next
Okay.
time we see you, we will do our
Oh,
best to have some
yeah.
moss for you.
Okay.
You seem to be a troll of honor, and I respect that.
Yes, that I have lots of deals. Nobles give me too.
I wish. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you.
Goals.
Oh, you are such a businessman, there, Sculp.
That's
What?
right. Those guys at the gate, they pay me not to eat people on boat.
Oh,
Toll is for.
businessman. That's a good. It's a good.
So toll is middleman is a middleman paying the bridge to pay troll.
They're just like, putting a little markup on it.
Well, yeah, taking their margin.
At the same time, do you think if we took out this troll, it would do Lord Brackenwood a favor, and they wouldn't have to deal with it anymore?
Big guy, right? Is he right?
Although the
Currently?
troll seems being pretty cool to us.
He has been, yeah. I mean, he was going to eat us and take our skulls, but
Mhm.
he seems cool
But instead,
now.
he just took your weapon, and now he's our buddy.
I know, my
Yeah,
dagger.
for a little bit, I guess. I guess he would. Well.
I think Geoffrey at this point is inclined to keep the troll on our good side, maybe exit while he's still friends with us and head.
Mhm.
If we know that the Grimmelkins are, that we can make it there by the end of day, and that there's a structure there potentially we could camp near, maybe we do shout on the Lord and head up there.
That was good. So you continue hiking through the woods. So that was your random encounter.
Fantastic. I love these random encounters. Are these in the Dolmenwood guide, or do you have like a
cool.
separate?
Yeah, they're in the campaign guide tables, but hexes have their own things sometimes. So there's
Mhm.
there's a general tables for different areas of the wood
Yeah.
and what the season. It's pretty complicated. But
No, it's great.
the hexes sometimes have their own you can encounter this here or that there.
I would have to say that was the most nervous I've been meeting a troll
Well,
ever.
I rolled his reaction. He could have
Even
been
that.
he could have been super hostile, but it was very
Uh-huh.
neutral. So
Yes.
Well, that's
Nice.
not bad. Even then, that was still pretty scary when he's like, "I'll just eat your skulls." It's
Yeah.
like, here, thank you. Yeah.
I was gonna say 5 minutes for everybody to change the pants, and then
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
head north.
We talk about eating a mage. I definitely had a little.
Right.
Mages taste the best.
I hear illusionists are disgusting.
So as you spend a few more hours heading up the river, and you're looking out for this tower, and probably at times you're still tracking, and Lillibeth suggests that she's still got a beat on. She still feels that they're going this way, that the tracks lead this way. You're looking out, probably coming out from the tree line at times, maybe to get some distance away, get closer to the river, so you can look. You're looking for a tower. You don't keep looking, and you don't see anything like that until kind of out of nowhere as you're traveling north. It just is there. There's a small clearing, you just step into it, and you had seen no indication of it from afar, but bam, it's just you kind of just walk right into it. And so this structure is situated right on the bank of the River Hameth. It's a slender, maybe slightly crooked tower of white stone. It sort of has that onion bulb kind of top at its peak. It almost feels like as you're looking up at it, like it's just like kind of bewildering. Like, how did we not see this thing? Because it's got to be at least maybe 40, 50 stories tall. It's like tremendous in size. And also kind of like how could such a thing be constructed out here, middle of nowhere? But there it is. There is a like a small spiraling staircase that leads from the forest floor up, maybe 2 stories, to where there's wooden double doors that seem to lead into the entryway.
If we circle around the structures there, do we see any other entrances or anything that would seem like it could be an entryway, porticulus of some sort?
No, you don't see any like cellar entrance or back way in or anything. It seems like this is the only way in. Even like looking up and down, there's no windows that you see. It's like completely fortified.
My friends, this is not ominous at all.
Geoffrey, and really for everyone, just I'm sure we've picked up on this, but the Wizard's Tower is dangerous. Be careful what you touch, where you walk. There's no telling. This is at least someone who has some sense of illusion or some kind of protection magic. So, pretty powerful.
I think Sir Geoffrey is going to sort of draw his weapon and kind of signal to Sir Silas, like, you take up the rear, I will take up the front, and let's be prepared, and kind of set a marching order as we head up and in.
He draws his blade as well and gives you a nod, and he says, "Yes, keep your wits about you. We're here for one thing. Let's not get distracted." So, what's your? I guess let's set like a little bit of a marching order, just so I'm aware of. So we've got Geoffrey in the front, we've got Silas in the back. Maybe we'll have Lillibeth in the back as well, like right in front of maybe Silas.
I'd like to be right behind the front.
And Friar in the middle.
Sure.
All right.
How about you, Thomas?
I will be in the middle, maybe side to side
Yeah.
with the Friar.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so you start to make your approach up, and you can see both of the wooden doors at as you're coming up the staircase. Both of them have knockers on them that look like lion heads that have kind of the ring that you could use to signal that you have arrived if you wish to make your presence known.
Ring the doorbell.
Well, being the only one of the arcane in the group, why don't I lead this conversation? Maybe I could parlay with any sort of wizardess type. And so I'll go up and is like a knocker, you said, like a ring shaped knocker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do.
The
And
doors
I don't have
just...
my sword out or anything.
Okay. So as you do that, like you just hear like a click and the doors like creak open. And there's nobody there, but they open up on their own and give you sight into the main entranceway. Here is just very well illuminated, although there's no torchlight or anything. There's just sort of a magical luminescence here, which is it's clearly not coming from anywhere, because even inside there's no windows or anything. But in the middle of this marble chamber is this large fountain, which also has depictions of lion-headed creatures that have water shooting up and cascading down, and you can hear like this almost if it was a different situation, if you were like in a more majestic kind of cathedral or something, this would be right in place. It's almost sort of soothing hearing the water trickle down and splash into the pool. The only other thing that you notice in here, other than the marble stonework, the fountain, is there's a staircase that seems to lead up. Spiral staircase that just circles the perimeter of the room.
I'll kind of slip my hand into my pocket and palm the quartz gem nervously, making sure it's there. You know, like when you're checking your wallet and you're like, you know, walking down the street, someone bumps into you. Kind of patting it and just why didn't I prepare detect illusion? I was like, well, and I'll just step into the room. And Thomas, I heard you. Were you about to step up too?
Yeah, I mean, as we enter, my question is, as we look, does it look to be occupied? And I guess as we step in or whatever, I'll just, kind of run my hand along the ground and look for dust on my fingers. I mean, I guess I want to make sure that this is actually a place that's kept up, or is it seem to be more uninhabited, generally speaking?
It doesn't no dust. In fact, it feels very clean and immaculate. Yeah, so you don't have any evidence that like anybody like necessarily dwells or lives here, but like something upkeeping.
Well,
Friar would kind of, sorry,
oh, go ahead, Friar.
he would just kind of speak up to the group and said, "Well, if we're here and the door opened, I'm sure they know we're here. Correct? Probably not go too far in."
Agreed. But I will take a few steps. Well, I'll take a few steps in as he's saying that, and I'm not going far in. I'm just crossing the threshold, and I'll just sort of raise my hand, or I'll, do one of these like, "Hello, anybody home? This is Weymund Green, an illusionist, traveling through the Dolmenwood. We found your tower and just wanted to ask you some questions about some friendly folk that we've run into, some mischievous Grimmelkins."
Your voice just kind of echoes throughout the room. You're looking up. You just see, the staircase kind of leads up. There's a stone floor, and the staircase seems to lead. There's not a door or anything, just level. So you're looking up there, anticipating, somebody coming down or walking down or falling down in response, but nothing.
I just look around.
And our only option is basically go up the stairs. There's nothing else in this room, right?
Well, go ahead. Alex, did you want to answer that?
Nothing else in the room, correct?
Yeah, just the stairs. Yeah, it seems we have no choice but to continue forward.
Well, the other option, Sculp said that they came in and out and in and out. We could camp and wait and like ambush. Friendlily, like.
Well, that plan is slightly without honor. These Grimmelkins seem without honor, so I would. That seems to be fair.
But I'm also, I won't lie. I'm very curious about the magics that power this tower. So I wouldn't be opposed to interfacing, but
I do have some fear about getting too deep into the wizard's tower. However, we are just a few steps in, so I'm willing to enter a few more levels should we feel we are with that. However, I'm just as apt to just wait outside and ambush the Grimmelkin as well. What say you, brother?
Well, they for one thing, I did not see that other one at all, so they might be a bit sneaky. I'm not sure what they truly can do, these magic kitty cats, but if they might. Are you listening? I'm sure they're listening right now, probably. So, the door. Either way, hello. He's just gonna kind of yell into the room again, hoping someone would come. But just,
Voice echoes out.
uh-huh.
No response.
Maybe it might. I know I said not go too far, but we might be waiting a very long time outside, and we are here. Maybe a bit further in wouldn't hurt.
Okay. I mean, we were invited somewhat, and the door opened.
So
Might
bad.
be
There's so
rude.
many dice rolls going on right now. Jeez.
We did ring the door. They are certainly
Yeah.
aware we are here. There's
Mhm.
no question. If they're not answering, there's a reason for that. So
Well,
let's bear caution if we're going to head up the next level.
why don't you put away your swords, and then that way we can be explicitly non-hostile.
I would be explicitly without defense as well.
I'm not saying chuck it into the woods, just sheathe it.
Go ahead, brother. That sounds fine. It's okay.
And to
He's
be
gonna
clear,
kind of
I
look-
don't care what you do. I think it's probably
He's-
smart to have it out.
He's gonna kind of look at his brother and he'll sheathe the sword like up to the hilt, like 1 inch out with his hand on it, like at the red. Like he's only doing it because his older brother kind of like eased him into it, but he's not very comfortable with this.
Yeah. All right.
And so the plan is to head upwards.
I think so. Let's try to find this wizard, and at the very least, we can communicate. Hey, these Grimmelkin robbed us, and we're good folk. We don't have any ill intentions. We just want our gold back, even just enough to make the toll.
Have any of us stopped to consider that the wizard may be the person we're searching for?
Oh my God! If that's what happens,
There's a wizard here.
Jeez.
If there's a wizard, at all,
Shortest campaign ever.
just TPK right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
I mean, how long has she been on the run? Could she have constructed this? Well, I guess if it's
I
magic.
don't know if she could have constructed it, but she may have. I mean, I don't even know that there's a wizard here. It's just the wizard's tower, right?
That's true. We could find like 3 Grimmelkin in a coat.
So I guess we're stepping in
So
a
yeah,
bit
let's
more.
do it. Let's go up the next
Going up the
spiral
stairs?
staircase.
All right.
Yeah.
So you start to make your way single file up the staircase, and you make your way up to the second level that you are exploring, and takes you into what looks like a study. You can see that there are leather couches and chairs, a roaring fire, and a hearth, and all sorts of tapestries and hunting trophies mounted about the room. There's sort of a little bit of a lingering odor of maybe tobacco pipe smoke in the room. And there is a cabinet that you see on one side of the room that contains a number of bottles of wine and then also wine glasses. It's like a glass cabinet kind of see within. And it's got sort of, the glasswork has sort of this frosty design inlaid on it of manticore like creatures. Then the staircase that you're on, it continues up and over all of this lounge type area up to yet another.
And what time of day is it approximately?
When you entered in, it was probably about 5 p.m. ish.
Gosh, this seems like a good place to spend the night.
That's what I was thinking too.
This fire is quite warm, and this bottles of wine. I have not seen this vintage for some time.
So just to be clear, there was a fire going.
There is a
Right
fire
now?
going. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very
And
pleasant,
we-
very comfortable.
And we've gone straight from prison to the woods, right? Like it's been like
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Sir Geoffrey is like feeling like I haven't had these sort of pleasantries for since I was nobility. Like he's almost getting ready to like pull off his chainmail and like get cozy, Although it is a bit ominous. Somebody will be coming back, I believe. The fire is still set. The wine glasses are ready for consumption, and it smells of fresh tobacco. The question is, who will be coming back? Will it be our Grimmelkin friends or someone different?
You can see that Sir Silas has moved over to there's like a small there's like a small end table that's like between two of these leather chairs, and the drawer that he has pulled out, examining a tobacco smoking pipe, and then there's a little box that seems to have some dry leaf in it, and you can see he's looking longingly at it, and he's just kind of like saying to himself, "We're here for but one purpose." But would it be so wrong to?
Well, I have to caution, and I hate to be the burster of bubbles, but clearly this magic is somewhat illusionary. These may be real things, but they also may be illusions.
Also, I
So,
might
could be a
warn you,
glamour.
Silas, of cousin Belfry's wedding when he smoked something he didn't recognize, and I think my brother knows what it was, but
Well,
it was
it
not a
wasn't.
good
I think those are
reaction.
drug addicts.
The real problem was, hold on. The real problem was that it was not his pipe to smoke. That was the issue, and I think that might be what.
The issue now.
Yeah, right.
Cause of
I
foul.
met it. We don't want to partake in whatever pleasantries at the moment, as especially if they're maybe a gracious host there, Sir Silas.
The
A
dosage
bit
may be
longer.
for a certain
I
body
sure
size.
hope that but I'm really hoping it's gonna get out again. Whoever's here would be kind of you, weary travelers.
Is there? Did you say that there was a chair in here?
Yeah, several chairs and some couches.
I want to go over and look at the chairs and couches. I mean, I suppose I would know that cats shed. Do I see hair on the chairs or anything that maybe it had been sat on by some of these Grimmelkin?
Yeah. There is some very limited evidence of that. Maybe particularly over by the two chairs where Sir Silas is standing examining this pipe and the pipe leaf.
Maybe
A little
this
bit of
wizard,
tabby fur hair.
Yeah.
maybe this mage uses these Grimmelkin as some kind of cadre of familiars. Like they're sort of like toadies, lackeys.
Could be. Could be.
I still do think it may be somewhat funny if the Grimmelkin came in and we were just chilling on their couches, smoking their
Smoking the
tobacco.
pipe.
Remember
Chilling,
us,
you say?
guys?
Chilling, huh? You
Come
and your
on
double
in,
speak.
grab some wine.
Just maxing and relaxing, as they say.
Well, maybe we move up at least one more floor then.
All right. So Sir Silas nods, sadly puts away the pipe and the tobacco. Kind of a little bit of even like a longing for the wine, like a finger just on the glass, like
Oh yeah,
God.
like
No
he
question
doesn't.
that's going on for all of us.
He has
Probably.
his hand is like the friar has like one hand behind his back while he's talking, and it's just like shaking. Like,
Hey, Alex, I do have to run my daughter, so
Okay.
I probably will be back in like 25 minutes tops.
Okay, maybe this is a good place to call it a day then, just because of lots of different things happening for everybody, players wise, and we got you somewhere. I think we had some interesting little pieces here, so
Yeah.
feel good about that. So we're stopping off in the very comfortable
That's
lounge
nice.
here. Isn't that nice?
In the Fire lit wine and tobacco room.
Yes.
So we're gonna cut the stream here. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us here this morning. We will be back. Did we set our next date?
I don't think so.
Not sure.
I know we had talked about maybe doing next week, but I think that's gonna be hard for me.
Okay.
But
So
that's okay because,
see,
like, you know,
yeah, we'll see if again, like if we have just one person that can't make it, we'll still play. If it's
Mhm.
2 or more, I will cancel. So we'll put a big question mark. Maybe we will be on here on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central to continue on and see if we find these Grimalkin and their money. So thanks everyone. We are on here tonight yet. We got Storm King's Thunder, I believe, happening at 7 p.m. And then we also have a game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Casey is running a community campaign session. So a couple of opportunities to catch us live here yet this weekend. So with that, thanks everybody, and we will catch you all soon.
Thank you.